Alright guys, so before I start this video, I just have to say, if you are bored at home and you just want to get some boxing in with your siblings, parents, or maybe if you got kids, I just gotta say, just check the link in the description below. They're absolutely amazing headgear, and yeah, so just make sure to go check them out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, now, let's get into the video. Jamall Emmers versus Vince Cachero is a featherweight bout. Jamall Emmers has achieved a record of 17 wins, 5 losses. Vince Cachero has achieved a record of 7 wins, 2 losses. Alright, so Vince Cachero has actually been competing as a bantamweight, and he plans to move up to featherweight in this fight. In his first 6 fights, which were mainly in the LFA, he actually ended up winning 3 by decision, 2 by submission, and 1 by KO. And the competition he faced during those 6 fights were actually pretty good. Alright, so after that 6-fight streak, he actually ended up losing 2 in a row to Casey Kenny, who is a top 25 bantamweight, and Ludwig Scholian, who is a top 200 bantamweight. After those 2 disappointing losses back-to-back, he fought Marvin Garcia, who is actually a top 200 bantamweight in the US, and he ended up winning from ground and pound. Alright, now let's take a look at his opponent, Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers is actually a top 100 featherweight in the world, and he's been fighting since 2012, and he's actually beating guys like Alexander Hernandez and Corey Sandhagen, who are very good fighters. As the only other person to beat Corey Sandhagen is a future champion in Aljamain Sterling. This guy sort of has 2 fights in the UFC, with the first one coming inside of the Contender Series against Julian Erosa, who just recently beat an up-and-comer in Sean Woodson. And in that fight, they were doing pretty even, and in the second round, Julian Erosa threw up a head kick, and somehow he landed, knocking Emmers out. Now, his second fight in the UFC was against Giga Chikadze, who is a top 50 featherweight, and who is 3-0 inside the UFC, and he actually ended up losing that fight by split decision. Now, even though that fight went to split decision and he lost the fight, it still shows that he can compete with the best featherweights in the world. Now, Jamall Emmers has lost to some not-so-good guys, but because he's beaten guys like Alexander Hernandez, who is ranked, and Corey Sandhagen, who is a top 5 bantamweight in the world, I'm going to have to give the win to Jamall Emmers by decision. Alright, if you agree, disagree, or just have something to say, make sure to put it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to back to every single one of those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, but with notifications turned on so you don't miss the absolute best MMA content out there. It's been fun, but I'm out of here.